So now switch the gears and talk about your hobby. Everybody knows, what you do.
I don't know.
So when you're not doing all this open source work, what do you do in free time?
So I spend a lot of time doing Taekwondo. And of course, I'm an avid scuba diver and photographer. And so I love taking pictures underwater.
Right. I don't know about Taekwondo, but do they also have the belt system?
Yes.
So which level are you on?
I'm a third dan black belt.
Okay, so how dangerous is that?
I don't know. I don't think I'm dangerous at all.
You're peaceful.
I am completely harmless.
Okay, so have you ever used your Taekwondo skills underwater?
No, I have not. I don't think so. Well, actually, no, I'll take this back. As part of Taekwondo, a lot of what you spend time on is flexibility. So the ability to actually, extend yourself. And one of the things that Linus struggles with greatly when you do tech dive training, one of the things you have to be able to do is you have to be able to open your own tank and close it. And this is just a matter of flexibility, and Linus struggles with this to no end, whereas for me this is super easy. He keeps teasing me about that, the fact that I can reach the back of my...
So when he goes, does he need everybody sometimes, or he can go on his own?
Oh, he's a perfectly great diver. This is not something that you typically
But you have
need.
to learn to do that, there are certain
This
things.
is for tech dive training. Okay, so we are both certified Trimix divers, and we are both certified as dive masters, as tech divers. And one of the skills you have to showcase is that you're able, if you have a malfunction in one of your, if you have dual tanks, one of the malfunctions, you need to be able to turn it off.
Okay.
And for him this was really, really hard. So he would be head down underwater so that the tank slides up, and then he would...
But he found a way, right?
He found a way, of course he did. Yeah.
So we should, I think at LinuxCon, we should have a big tank where you and Linus, do a keynote panel underwater.
So at I can't remember which conference it was. I think it was the LinuxCon in Boston 6-7 years ago, where we were at the Boston Aquarium and Linus got to scuba dive in the aquarium.
In front of everybody?
Yeah.
Oh, that was awesome.
The party was at the aquarium and Linus was in the tank. That was awesome.
Awesome.
I didn't go into the tank. That was kind of sad, but okay.
Okay. Has there ever been any exciting, experience underwater that you still remember it, or you're like, this is the best moment I ever had?
Funny you should ask, because that is a typical question that I get. And I always tell people, how you decide what's your most exciting dive is actually really, really hard. And one of my most exciting dives was actually a dive with Linus. And it's a dive where we went to 14 feet.
Okay.
It was a sandy rubble bottom. We spent there 2 hours and hardly ever moved. We never got more than maybe 30 feet away from the pier. But we spent 2 hours watching an octopus hunt.
Oh, wow.
So there was a Pacific octopus, an Atlantic octopus out hunting for critters in the sand, a fish following him and trying, whenever the octopus was digging the sand, the fish would come in and try to get food out of the sand. And Linus and I was just following this octopus around, and both of my cameras ran out of battery, and we were 2 hours there, never moving much, just following that octopus. And one of the most exciting dives I've ever done. Just amazing. Right. They're such intelligent creatures.
They are. And has there ever been any scary dive that you're still scared, oh my God, that was the worst dive of my life?
Those are the ones you don't like to remember. There have been moments on dives that in the moment you think, this is not good. And since there is a high risk that my wife might be watching this interview,
you can say.
We were on a night dive where we were terribly badly briefed, where there was massive current and massive wind that wasn't in the briefing. And we come up from the dive and we are about a good quarter mile away from the boat, with the waves and the wind coming towards us. And the boat is picking up divers on the other side, so they're not looking our way. We're trying to get their attention with the lights. And to us in the moment, it felt incredibly scary. What we didn't know was that another quarter mile this way was actually the hotel that we were staying at. And so if we had just stopped swimming, we would have gotten to the shore at our hotel and would have been perfectly fine. But at that moment, it's pitch black around you. You have no idea how you are. You think maybe the open Pacific is behind you,
right,
and the wind and the current is pushing you away from the boat. Yeah, that wasn't my favorite dive. Not my favorite.
So after that, have you started taking the precautions that, we should? You never know.
This is something that's so hard to predict. We certainly are, especially in night dives, much more conscious of where's the boat. And in a situation like this where the briefing basically says, there's a tiny bit of current and you go down and there's a crazy current, today we would simply just abort. Okay. We would say, no, this is not it, and would go back up to the boat. Back then, this is very early on in our diving together. We didn't do that, but in hindsight, we should have.
Okay. Last question. You also do a lot of photography. What kind of cameras do you use?
I actually have a brand new camera. I have an Olympus EM1 Mark II, and I took it on my first dive trip last week in Hawaii. Very, very happy with the new camera. It's once again a Micro Four Thirds. I'm a huge mirrorless fan because you have smaller cameras.
Yeah, me too. All these are.
This is all mirrorless.
This one is full format, but these two are Micro Four Thirds.
Yeah, I love the Micro Four Thirds.
And you can see the lens, how huge it is on the full frame camera.
And this is what I like about mine, because it makes for a smaller housing.
Exactly.
It's easier to travel with, and it's easier to work with underwater. But yeah, so that's my equipment of choice. I keep looking at full frame equipment and then look at the size like, no, this is just not worth it.
Only problem with Micro Four Thirds is low light conditions. Other than that, they're rock.
Yeah, so getting good light to your subject, but underwater you always have that because you have so much color loss otherwise.
And underwater is totally different bird either way. So anyway, it was nice talking to you today, and hope we'll be meeting again in a week.
Yes, in less than a week, later this week.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.